Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Bluff's Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. We're meeting virtually. The time is 6:03 p.m. We'll start with a roll call of Planning and Zoning Commissioners.
Ted Dobson.
Thanks,
Age before beauty.
Go for it. Amanda Podmore, Chair.
Marcia Hadenfeldt.
Malia Collins is
Brian.
here.
Brian Whitney.
Brian, welcome. And then Town Council.
Luann Hook.
Welcome, Luann. And let's see, welcome Melanie and any members of the public that join or listen in. Okay, we will start tonight with opportunity for public comment. People can have up to 3 minutes in length to share public comment. Would anybody like to give a public comment tonight? Okay, I will go ahead and close public comment for the evening, and then we'll start with approval of meeting minutes from 3 meetings. We have July 17th regular meeting, July 24th work session, and August 1st work session. So, Lee, are you still able to pull those up, even though your mic doesn't work right now? Oh, she's rejoined, actually. Okay, first is the minutes from July 17th, 2024. Scrolling down, the first comments are on the second page. There's just a comment on confirming that something had been received, which is actually spelled wrong. There you go.
Hey, I corrected the grammar and then spelled it wrong. So, you know, I got part of it right. It was just a weird sentence. That's all it was.
Right. Any other edits or changes to the minutes from July 17th?
Move to approve the minutes as corrected.
I can second that.
Okay.
Malia tried with her fingers.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Malia, do you mind putting your vote in the chat? I can't see your camera. Aye. Okay. Aye. So motion approves unanimously with 4 ayes. Thank you. Let's move on to the July 24th work session minutes. I believe those had a couple corrections. Okay. First is under item 1, review of RV Ordinance. Marcia just made a correction so that it reads, the commission intends to allow the town council and public discussion of the specifics of this subsection to help determine the outcome of this section as the ordinance moves forward. Everybody okay with that addition? And then there was an addition of, Marcia wanted to correct the sentence to read, the commission clarified they wish to encourage commercial storage of RVs and amend the draft to include a limit of 2 unoccupied RVs allowed per acre lot under subsection 4 of section 4.
I think I was just trying to clarify because it's the A, 2, and 3 standards in residential that we're talking about. Is that what we're doing? It's not done yet. We can fix it later.
Okay. Okay. We do that change. And then scrolling down under other, there was a question in the minutes for what documents we were referring to. So I clarified that physical copies of the new forms and the land use clearance versus building permit document will be held at the town offices. Everybody good with that? Okay. Any further edits or discussion on these minutes? Oh, yeah, it should read town manager. Good correction, Luann.
Do you see it there? It's in part 2. The commission then asked city manager, it should just be 10, or did you already get it changed?
We can get that changed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's in that last part.
I think Malia keeps dropping. Here, let me see if I can edit it really fast. Okay. Any final edits or changes to these minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes as amended, say aye.
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 Hi, can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah, we heard you.
Yes!
Hey, well,
Okay.
Oh my
welcome.
gosh. Thanks.
All right. Motion passed unanimously. Thank you. Then last, let's move on to reviewing the minutes from August 1st work session. And I don't, if Malia wants to pull that up, I don't think we have any edits in that one.
Cool. A motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. All in favor of approving the minutes from August 1st, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thanks, everybody. And Melanie, fabulous job on these minutes. They're just excellent.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, my microphone was also still not working. It's like one checkbox in like the Google settings that I keep having to undo.
Oh,
But
okay.
and I finally got it today. But Marcia, I did spell your last name wrong in the July 24th, and I was trying to get it like hurry up and unmuted. I forgot a D in your last name. And every single time I spelled it.
No worries, Melanie. Just catch it when you can, and obviously I didn't either. But we have you later on in our agenda to figure out who's doing what, and that'll be a really good discussion. Great.
Okay, okay, thank you. I was just trying to unmute before you guys voted, and I'm sorry, but there we go.
All good. Wonderful. Okay. So next we'll move on to old business section of our agenda. Item 1 is update from town council. So Luann, I will pass it over to you.
Okay, so this time, the only meeting we've had since I updated you in the July meeting was August 6th, which was yesterday. We had a couple of the Tuesdays off at the end of the month. A few things on the old school, the CCC. August 13th will be the bid opening for getting an engineer/architect person on board. 54 firms were notified of the grant availability or the possibility of the work. August 21st, we're doing a joint meeting with UDB, and that will be the time to pick an engineer, architect, everybody will vote on it, whatever. There's been more discussion on how the grant is spent and who gets the money and why and that sort of thing. So there are a few things still to clarify with them, but it's moving along. Aaron and Ann are both in depositions today and tomorrow to keep our town boundaries intact. That's happening right now. The Utah League of Cities and Towns, I mentioned to Ann that I mentioned it to you all, and she was going to reach out to and see if there was anybody who wanted to go. It's September 4th and 5th, so the nights would be the 3rd and 4th in Salt Lake City. So if anybody's interested, Jen is going. I think she's the only one going from council. We're looking at IT services. We still need some upgrades, and we need to change to a .gov address and whatnot. Looking for either local help or new provider options, or find out what our options are in order to get that all to happen. We had discussion on whether on the public comment, there's a whole tab on our website that takes you to public comments, and they were going to discuss with our attorney what's required, public hearing wise, if those need to be posted online or what. But in doing some searching, no other towns post them. And so it's question for the next agenda, whether we even want that as part of our website. Of course, you can always come and do a public comment that gets in the minutes and so on. So anyway, we're discussing that a little bit. West Park, the kiosk is set to go, and there was discussion on whether we wanted to make a bigger, like, well, you got the concrete truck there, do some more, but there are more plans in the works that we weren't aware of, making, you know, the bathrooms and getting water. And there's some stuff already done on that. And Tina did a good public comment. And anyway, it's moved off the table. We're going to wait till the plan is in place. They're just putting a sign up, and that'll be it for now. The 21st, with John Curtis is coming to town again. This will be his last one of his representative. He's running for senator, so we'll meet up with him. It is the night of your meeting, and so I will just have to listen in. We'll get you the update somehow. We do get a gravel tax from these gravel pits within our town boundaries, and it amounts to about $3,500 a year that the state divvies out from all the gravel pits. And then Mary Ann, she said that she approved the payment for the subdivision ordinance payments, moving that forward. But I believe that's all. It was a pretty long meeting last night, but that's kind of what I pulled out of it that you might be interested in staying up to date. But do you have questions?
Yeah, thanks, Luann. Can you say again the dates of the Utah League of Cities and Towns conference?
Yes, it's on the 4th and 5th. I'm not sure what the day of the week is, but the nights reserved are the 3rd and the 4th.
Okay. And are any commissioners interested in attending that?
I won't be here. I'm sorry. I'll be out of town.
I won't be here either. Okay.
Right. I just wanted to make sure you were all aware, and it's always interesting to be with other town leaders and whatnot, and the Utah League of Cities and Towns people that coordinate all that. But just want to make sure you guys know that it's available.
Great. Maybe
Yeah, I could potentially be interested.
Oh, great. Yeah. You want to coordinate with Anne and Jen on that, Malia?
Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks.
Great. I did go one year and it was very useful. But if Malia, if you aren't able to attend, maybe Jen can report back to us via email or something. So, okay. Any other questions for Luann? Okay. Thank you so much.
Let's see. I did give them the update of the 2 ordinances that you're working on, and I didn't tell them when they would be ready to send the drafts on over. But I do that update to them, and they're waiting. So.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Item 2 on our agenda is the regarding our outdoor lighting, dark sky compliance. We were curious about the information about the lumens allowed for canopy lighting, like at a gas station. So Whitney, or not Whitney, sorry. Brian.
Whitney's here. Yeah.
I want to speak to that, Brian.
I'll sing it to you. Yeah, no, I just went through, I think the conversation was born out of the letter that was written by Stuart Aitchison about gas station canopy, and then I think it just sort of turned into a general question that we had about what for underlighting on things like such as canopies, not just to make it a broader conversation, but what the allowance is for lumens out of them. I went back and read I just pulled some stuff out of our exterior lighting ordinance, and I first started by just scanning for the use of the word canopy, and it's mentioned twice in the section that is about the special exemption for gas station canopies, and then it's also mentioned once in just essentially saying that merely placing a light that doesn't have the shielding in it under a canopy is not compliant. Just sort of the references to canopies within it. I think what I learned from it is that within the not trying to make it too much about that specific canopy, but using it as the example. Really, any sort of canopy structure that has underlighting on it is allowed as long as it's compliant with what the ordinance says, which is essentially no horizontal or upward light. And it is, the lumens are regulated as an aggregate on the property, is my understanding of reading through it. So it's not about any particular light, but about how much light in total you can have per developed acre. And so in that case, looking, just using the gas station as an example, they're on C3, I believe, which would then allow upward, a grand total of 45,000 lumens, which, regardless of whether they're the quote unquote unshielded or shielded, there's a lower limit for unshielded, but you can have 45 in total. And my understanding is like a 70 or 100 watt bulb, and the traditional fluorescent bulb is like 1,500 lumens. So that, quick math there. Let me use my calculator. There would be like a certain amount of. So it doesn't. I don't know. Does that help at all? Is that? I think it's more of just a question of, are they staying within the aggregate total? And so aren't. And then if they were unshielded and they weren't the dark sky compliant, then they would only be allowed to have 5,000 lumens of unshielded light.
So Brian, do we know?
Yeah.
Do we know if the particular canopy we're just discussing as an example, do we know whether or not those are shielded lights, or do we know how many of them there are, anything, or is this just the fact-finding part of the ordinance?
This was just the fact-finding of it. I was going to go over there on my way home and count them and see, but I didn't. My understanding about this conversation was that we weren't trying to enforce anything on anyone in particular, so I was sort of staying away from making any particular. But I am curious.
I agree with that. I think I'm just wondering if we're in fact studying this to know what that means. The difference.
Yeah, I would be very right, because it wouldn't take. So like 5,000 unshielded lumens. If there were, that would be what, like essentially 3.5 light bulbs unshielded at 100 watts would be over the allowed unshielded lumens. So, and that doesn't change. Reading what it says about what's allowed for gas station canopies, you still have to, you're still supposed to. There's nothing in the language of the gas station canopy thing that says you have any different amount of allowed light.
Great. Yeah, I think
just that you're allowed to have understanding.
Yeah, I think this was helpful because it was helpful for framing our thinking around. It's not the actual canopy itself that is
right.
Has the amount of maximum lumens. It's the property. That's how our ordinance is written. So.
Yeah, I don't think you could say, right, based on what I read, you couldn't really say, like, this light is inappropriate. You can say it based off whether it's shielded or unshielded, but in terms of the power of, like what type of canopy. So, like, hypothetically, you could put a canopy, like the kiosk for the river trail could have a light on it as long as it's compliant and within the rules of what type of zone it is.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Brian, for looking into that. Anybody have any questions for Brian or follow-up thoughts on this? I think we can. Oh, Marcia, go ahead.
No, I just was thinking that this is the research we need to do so that once we've established that we're going to start doing information and enforcement for the community, we'll have some idea of what we're talking about and be able to go through and say, oh, there's a canopy or there's the lumens or whatever. So I think that's what we were looking for.
Okay. That's great. Okay. Let's move on to item 3, updates on the draft RV ordinance. I don't think we're going to work on that tonight, but Marcia and Malia, I know you put in a good amount of time on it since we last talked about it. Do you want to share any updates with us? Maybe next steps?
An overview is that once we had talked to you guys about some of the pieces, Malia and I went in and sort of cleaned those up. And then we did, in fact, add the wording in place in the correct places for mobile home parks versus the RV parks. So basically, when we're looking at this at our next work session or whatever it is we decide to do, we're looking at rules for RVs, places you can have them and park them, and then rules and standards of RV parks and mobile home parks, many of which are quite similar, as you can imagine. And so whatever we determine this evening, Amanda, that you would like to do for working it through, we would just have you guys keep doing what you do, which is read what we've written and put some comments there so that we can all talk about anything that bothers us. So, and Malia and I did leave a couple of question marks, as we often do, to say, does everybody want this or not want this? So whatever you'd like to determine for working on it, that's where we are with it.
Okay, so maybe next step is scheduling a work session. So
I think that's on the agenda below us.
Yeah. Any questions or thoughts from commissioners?
You can look. Oh, I'm sorry. You can look it up in our drive, drive documents. The most current version is what we've done, and still draft, but definitely in there.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be homework, everybody, to review those changes whenever we plan that work session. So thank you both so much. We really appreciate your work on that. Okay, let's move on to new business. Item 4 is land use clearance applications. We don't have any for tonight's meeting. We will likely have, we do have one for meeting on the 21st. Any commissioners, any other land use clearances that are pending or that you're aware of coming in? Marcia?
Can I just want to ask a question, and that is, did you get an answer from our solar request on the 21st about being on the 21st? Because I sent out the one that said, hey, sorry you missed the deadline, and we'll put you on the 21st. And I just wondered if you heard anything, because I didn't.
Yeah, I did not get a confirmation, but we can
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm assuming when you send them out the link to the meeting for the 21st, then they'll say great or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And just for the public listening, our land use clearance, our deadline for having a land use clearance on our agenda has been, for a while now, we need to receive it the Wednesday before a meeting, so we have sufficient time to review it. So just a reminder to the public, we have a 1 week submittal requirement to get on our agendas. Okay, anything else on land use clearances from the commission? Righty. Item 5, this, we had a request from the town council so the town council was reviewing the strategic plan and noted one of the accomplishments they wanted to start working on this year was a noise ordinance, and that had been assigned to planning and zoning to work on. We, at our last meeting, said, let's discuss whether this is something the commission would like to work on. I think some of our considerations are, A, is this within the scope of work of a typical planning and zoning commission body? B, if we have capacity? C, if we want to support the town in this and help, even if it's not in our scope. So I open it up to discussion from commissioners. Do we want to consider drafting a noise ordinance for the town, which I think we had started drafting one in the past and we had stopped. So welcome any thoughts from commissioners.
I would say that if it was on the strategic plan, and that's something that a lot of the community was a part of, that it's something that we should be working on. And then we can put together and it starts with, sorry, I'm distracted.
My dog's very excited now.
We'll give Malia a
He
second.
didn't know he had a chance to participate.
Yeah, pets are welcome.
That
And while
felt
Malia,
oddly appropriate.
during a noise ordinance discussion, yes. While Malia is, Malia, are you back?
Okay, I think everybody's calmed down now. So I was saying, I think that since the community has said that they want that we can come up with what we think it should be in it. And then as of course it goes out to public comment and then it can be edited and revised from there. So